Back to it. So going with this, item 2 is board appointments to the Anniston Historic Preservation Commission. So as I turn this over to you, these are on the consent agenda this evening.
Yes, sir. And those are the ones that we were recommending, but we have asked again that we take off C.
Yes, sir.
And that's one of my decisions as well, to take them off.
Okay.
And we've already made contact with the appropriate, with Mr. John Day, and he's made contact with him, so he's aware of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, any questions or issues with item 2 again, this is on the consent agenda tonight? Okay, let's move on to bids, item 3, folks.
You know, that's just that's a precursor to the bids for the concrete. At that time, I was here again that we had class to put it out. The bid has not been open yet, but in the next meeting will be open and we'll have a recommendation for the council.
Any issues or questions in this item 3? All right, we'll move on to item 4, surplus items. A is actually on the consent agenda this evening. I'll turn that over to you, folks.
Yes, again, I really appreciate the police department thinking about this, because when we get Boys and Girls Club, any bicycles, some of the things like that, in the past, we just surplus them, but this way, they actually gonna surplus them and turn over to the Boys and Girls Club, that they can be used to give out those kids during Christmas.
I
think that's something that the police department came over with, and I really appreciate what they're thinking about those kids, and that's a good thing.
Thank you all for your vision and leadership there. Absolutely.
And the next surplus item, again, of course, that's the Coldwater Mountain. It's just the gentleman that needs just access to and from his property. But we also have Bruce written that if we want to change it at any time, the easement we can. But that's just making sure he's allowed to go to and from his property. Yes, that's all.
Any issue there in this item 4B? All right, next is an outside license application, which is on the consent agenda tonight, routine housekeeping. Any issue there? All right, let's move on then. We'll go to bid number 6, and then we'll get Mike for the CDG reallocation.
Yes, sir. Those are really funds that we found that were not used, and they're reallocated. And what we found out, we had a fire station that needs a roof, and because it's in an impacted area, we can actually use their funds for that roof to replace that roof. So the fire department will pay a portion of it, and the CDBG funds that we had left over will help pay the rest of that. So it's a way that we found out that Lisa looked out to HUD said that's allowable as long as it's in an impacted area. So I think this is a way to get the roof on the fire station. We don't have to use all their funds for fire tax. Cooper station.
Any questions or issues there? All right, let's move back to item 1. And Mike, if he's not quite here yet, but if you can just kind of.
Sir, if you don't mind, I just got a couple more things.
Oh, yeah,
I wanted keep in mind, council starting tomorrow. My always program leave will start tomorrow until the 27th. So it's a few items I want to make sure that I'm taking care of during that time. And this one thing, because it was brought my attention about some concerns at the Pure Lounge. So again, that was something when we affected before. The city manager had an opportunity to actually meet with them myself, the police chief. We actually met with them, and as well as the fire marshal. We met with them and our concerns. We had for them to put together an action plan which is stated in the new ordinance. And then you will find that I've got a letter that I've attached to them that we're going to allow this down, but that we're going to continue to monitor this, and if this continues, then the next thing will be to bring it back from the council with the possibility of sending revocation of their business license. So they've been made aware, we've met with them, they understand those things, so we're going to be monitoring it closely. The police, they have given an option to work closely with the police department, but they got to do their part in it. But I will send this out, I will send this out tomorrow morning to them, but I've already had a conversation with them as well. So that this starts at the clock ticking, because I know there's some concerns about the Bureau that's clock ticking. So if they do not do what they're supposed to do, then I will bring it back for the council with the revocation, with the recommendation of revocation of the business license. So but that may be made aware.
Any other?
Just one other thing, as we have been talking about our new grant writers, one of the things that we're finding, as well as our new consultants that are in the DC area, one thing that we're finding out that all of them are asking for is an economic development plan. That, and really, if you look into our comprehensive plan, it also recommends that, so we can actually make the community involved, the community, talk about the things that we should do. And so what I want to bring before council is we reached out to a reputable group to actually do this. I want to bring before council asking that we move forward with with the recommendations to move forward with this using some of the funds that we have allocated in our reserve funds. So that's what I want to make sure that we come back before. I think many of you and I have talked about this, but I think everybody's telling us if we want federal dollars, if we want our grant writers, what we need to have this plan in place. And we look like it maybe a possible where through economic development, we may be actually do this may become a criteria that has to happen. But I think when we get this done, we'll be far ahead of the game. I think we have a great possibility. We had talked with our grant writers this morning. They put together a strategic plan, and I think all this will fit into that strategic plan. So I will bring any thought to the council. I think we will be satisfied with what this result comes from that.
No, I think that's wise, not only with respect to securing this grant funding, like North Anniston in particular, but I think working with developers. I think that puts us on better footing with them too. So I think that's wise. And I think since we've done the comp plan, we certainly need to follow up with the true economic development.
And Toby has something with industrial development that helps as well.
Yeah, another component of this, and this was recommended in the comprehensive plan, and it's been talked about before. But another component to it is for the city to have an outline process of being more engaged with industrial recruitment. The city on its own being representative to and participating in industrial recruitment efforts, not just primarily for the city, but the county.
Okay. I'll turn it over to you for Mike. Maybe we just do a little background first before we get into the meeting, the actual changes. So the meeting here on.
And I will turn this over to Mike, and I want to make sure the council understands the results come from all the individual meetings that we had with councilman and council individually had to talk, those things that came out of it. And also keep in mind we had to do that one survey in the Ward 3 and 4 area that we did get that completed. It just took a little while because we had time had to help us out with it, and we got those things completed. So this is your input, and I think if you look at it, and I wanted to make sure we have a comparison. I think we've done the best we could, but I think we've done a great job to do it. And all at the same time, I think what we're recommending is that we are going to bring this committee before the council the second meeting in December. And my recommendation to the council, and of course, the council has 30 days to either take that recommendation or even change it back. So this is so Mike.
Well, that's pretty good. Yeah, it's been enjoyable to work with you guys. I think Mr. Folks' idea of sitting down with you guys kind of in a one-on-one setting and going through the process, I think that cleared up probably some issues and helps in a lot of ways. And just knowing that you can't just arbitrarily move boundaries, you have your census demographics, census blocks that you have to keep in mind. Yes, and it was very helpful, Ms. Bryant, finishing up the survey. The survey took a little while, but that was very helpful in getting that western boundary of the country club kind of cut off like it was previously, like on the existing map. They did a survey 11 years ago, so we had to go back and redo that survey to kind of keep that existing boundary. And of course, that helped with the demographics. So, of course, just the basics. And does everyone have one of these sheets? Just kind of takes those two maps and demographics. The existing map, demographics, is on the bottom. Of course, the proposed is on the top. Of course, our target is we're trying to get 5,391 people in each district, in each ward. Of course, we're not going to get there exactly, but we want to get there typically within plus or minus 5%. So looking at the existing down at the bottom, yeah, we had 3 of them that were out of that 5 plus or minus 5%. So of course we had to redistrict. And talking with, and when I first looked at the map, I'll try to keep this brief, but when sitting down, I think all of my changes that I made, I don't think any of them were used. Because talking with you guys know your city and know of the course, you can see that our largest, at the top table, our largest figure, or outside of 0% deviation, is 2.8%. There in District 4. So that's excellent. Anytime you get below 4 and 3%, 2.8 is the largest. That's excellent numbers. So I think the one person, one vote principle, when you're dealing with voting rights and everything, I think that's, obviously, that looks great. We preserved, talking about the racial part of it, we preserved majorities in Ward 2 and Ward 3. And we actually have a slight majority in Ward 1, but that's virtually kind of a toss-up right there as far as your racial part. So, and also the target in Ward 1, we got almost exactly 5,391. So all the numbers on, as far as my end, look great. Hopefully, the QR codes, you have these links, QR codes, maybe they'll be helpful where you can access those on your phone. And maybe click on, it's a little clunky, it's not exactly the way I want it to be presented, but there is a location icon at the top left. When you pull up that map, it will zoom into your current location where you are on your phone. So that might be a helpful tool to kind of zoom in and move around instead of trying to look at these, at these maps. So hopefully that's helpful. And again, the survey numbers helped. We were able to move 60 people from Ward 4 into Ward 3. So that helped bring Ward 3 up. But overall, I'm very pleased with it. Any questions about anything that you guys have?
I have a question about, I'm not sure what some of these words mean, AMERIND.
That's I had to agree with some of
Okay,
that.
what about compact?
That is
Hawaii
Hawaii.
Pacific Island.
I see.
And I'm,
Okay.
of course, it's referring to Route 1.
Are we voting on this tonight?
No. I just wanted to bring it to you all so y'all can digest it. We're not voting on it tonight.
Are we beginning, I guess my point in that was, are we, not so much that I'm worried about voting on one way or another tonight, but are we also preparing a healthy publicity campaign to help people understand if we need to specifically target folks that move from one ward to another and make sure that we've got 2 years before the next election, make sure there's not confusion on election day. There's always some, but and a lot of that is a result of, we vote in one location for the county, we vote in one location for the city. State elections have different voting locations than the city, and that creates enough confusion on its own. But, I know there's a finger going up north 21 that there's a lot of votes right there that went from Ward 1 to Ward 2 that I would just hate for them to get frustrated and not vote because they didn't know, and I'm sure that everybody, I know mine, but I'm not sure everybody, is the same. Some of them it's a couple houses here or a couple houses there. That was a pretty wide swath right there that transitioned. It had to for the numbers, and it made sense. I support it. I just want to make sure that those folks have the knowledge.
Can we send out voter cards, or is that something the county does?
I think what Councilman Jenkins is correct. I think we're going to have to do this once we change this because here's the other thing that has to happen. Ward 2, for instance, I think we have a church, Skylar, if I'm saying the wrong thing, but I think we have a church that may be pulled out from that was at one time a voting area, the refuge will no longer be a vote. I don't think it's going to be that. But that's not a problem because then that only gives you, 2 in your ward. But keep in mind with Ward 1 again, that because of HIPAA and all that happened, the health department is no longer on that list as well. Remember last year we had to move it to the senior center. So I think we're gonna have to have something to educate everyone once this is done, making sure everybody understands where they're voting at. And once we get this done, we can get something together. And we've already talked about like getting something map out, making sure, getting Jackson to saturate everybody to understand where they're truly voting at once we get this done. So as we have this conversation, we will say that there's information that's coming out to make sure everybody's aware of that, and we'll start pushing that out as early as possible next year, even though I think we don't have to worry about another voting area for us until 2025. But I think we can use all 2024 to make sure everybody's aware of where the new areas at, because we still have to do something to make sure that we got all our voting areas done the right way as well, and Scout's already working on that.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure, I think sitting up voter cards is good, but it's gotta be more than just sitting up voter card. That's a tendency to get lost on people, a lot of folks don't see it, but, you know, we gotta go, in my opinion, above and beyond when we make a change like this.
Right, and today, what I think, especially with this first change from 4.1 to 4.2, I think we need to find a place somewhere close by. And that would be with that group of people, you know, at least like, maybe, you know, well, I guess we're good for the whole city, but we want to make sure these people, you know, make sure we're being accessible to them and let them understand what's changing and how to impact them well ahead of time. Because y'all know that
It's about 1,500 votes or 1,400 votes by my calculation that have changed. 1,400 total votes that have changed where they're voting, jumping from one ward to another. That's a fairly significant number.
No, that's absolutely significant.
Yeah.
Here, I mean, with our turnout.
Yeah. Yeah, Dee Dee and I are both over 400 that have changed locations, so that's real important for those guys.
So, I'm asking council now, do you want to vote on it the second week in December and then have meetings, because we got 30 days before it actually becomes official? Do we want to vote on it first, or would you like to go into the new year and have some community meetings first? That's the question I'm
I'd rather there be community meetings before we vote. It seems like we'll get better participation, in my opinion. If the community meetings are held prior to the vote, if the vote's already happened, people are going to say, well, what's the point of me coming in? You're just telling me something. Can you not just send it to me?
What starts the deadline, or what starts?
When I bring our proposals to the council, then the clock starts ticking.
So this doesn't count?
No, this is not.
No,
This is just a work session. It's just a work session.
So when you formally bring it forward?
Correct. Then
Okay.
they got 30 days, the clock starts ticking from that 30 days. And it works similar to the budget. After that 30 days, it becomes, if you all don't make any changes, it becomes.
That makes sense what Jay's saying, because that adds to the education piece as well, just a longer education period.
It's important to remember, if this wasn't already said, that if you have changes, it goes to a referendum election. It's not like the budget where you can make amendments once presented. This is, he presents a plan, you either vote for it, or you vote against it, or you don't vote. If you vote against it, the council puts forth an alternative plan, and there's a referendum election to choose between the two plans. So if there's going to be feedback and adjustments, then you would want to do that before it's presented to the council. But, you know, we went through that process where everybody's seen it, so I suggest that maybe it is more of an informational thing, that this is what we're doing, rather than getting feedback about how do y'all think we should do this.
That's what I'm
And then when it's a referendum election.
Yeah, right.
I think we get into very murky waters, because we're not saying that we don't want change, but that's not what we're saying. We want to make it accessible as possible for when the election comes. I think trying to get a little too much input causes a little bit more chaos.
That's what I wanted to do tonight. This is that information of what, so, because you all have done, I think, done an excellent job making this work. And I think when we start getting input, I think you're going to find people that come in with not the right,
Yeah, because then it'll be, oh, I want this,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
not, and it
Go
is,
for it.
yeah.
It's not like it's done an uncomplicated process anyway.
because you look at 140, you you're working with numbers, you can't change from one to the same, you can't change any numbers. I mean, it is what it really was, and I think y'all done an excellent job of bringing it, doing the best we could, getting the number. I just don't think there's another requirement that we got to have a input from the citizens. I think you all done a great job. It's just the fact that I think what Councilman Jenkins said, just make sure everybody knows where they go, and I think that's what we need to do, and we can do that information. So our recommendation to the council that we just vote on it on that day, and in that 30 days, you get all that when we start giving information out and let people know where it's coming from. That's what we know. That's fine.
On this same map that you have, so you can search addresses and it shows you where that address is. Could Skylar and I just work with you a little bit more, and when that time comes, like when an address comes up, could we correlate an entire ward field to pop up, and like if I did blank avenue, it could just say like Ward 3 and then poll,
Yeah, we should be able to do something like that.
like layer it over it, because that's how the commission, they have like when you search, and that's what we've been working on. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential there with.
And this would like stay online. It wouldn't stop being hosted at any time. Okay, yeah, that would be great if we could work with you on that in the future. Yeah.
So do we currently have a ward map on our website?
Not one that you can, like I live at, but we can with a couple additions to what's already here digitally.
Right.
As long as you know your own address, like, you know.
Good for us too, somebody else, you read that story, just get kind of squirrely,
Yeah.
one side the story, me, one side you, etc. And, we're willing to help anybody, but it'd be nice to say, well, I'll be glad to help you, but he's your council person, here's his number.
So I looked at the map, of course, that you left, and I took it home and looked at it. And as I understand, the big change in Ward 4 would be right now the line is separating one side of Keith from the other side. And one side is Ward 3, one side is Ward 4, to a certain point. And then now it will be Highland, moving over to Highland.
Moved over one block.
Okay, that would be to Highland.
Yes, ma'am.
And would one side of Highland, I'm sorry to ask you this question, I have a little bit of a problem reading it, but one side of Highland would still be Ward 4, what the country club is, but the other side would be Ward 3. Is that
Correct.
Am I reading that correctly?
That's
Okay.
correct. Yeah. Yes, we moved that over to give Ward 3 some more. And I think the only other change in your Ward 4 is we brought, let's see, I can't remember, is Glenwood Terrace, is that the 4-9? We didn't come down, I know in our meeting, I think we probably brought that down all the way to Glenwood Terrace. So the northern side is in 1, the southern side in 4, but now, you still have.
No, it was 9th Street was the delineation, it wasn't, Glenwood, it was 9th, it's one block, it was, half was 1 and half was 4.
So now, you still have all of that Glenwood Terrace.
Okay.
Both sides of it.
Okay, and as I look at it, part of that 9th Street is going to Ward 1.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, that's why.
We just shifted down just a little bit.
I said, okay. That's why I read it.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
So is it the sense of the council that we can bring this to the second meeting in December and then start working on to everybody at the beginning of the year to making sure everybody's informed? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments as to the proposed road map changes? Anything else? You got anything else?
Sir, got to move this along pretty enough.
Yeah,
That's our
that's
next
longer, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's